Okay.
And so we thought at the Ohio State Pro Day, I was just going to be able to do the combine drill, so the 40-yard dash and the L cone, the vertical, all that stuff, until like a week leading up to it. I got a text from a random numbers like, hey, are you still doing Ohio State's Pro Day? And I'm like, yeah. I didn't really know who it was. And they're like, all right, we'll be at the Woody, they call it, which is their indoor.
Yeah.
Like, all right, we'll be at the Woody Sunday at 10 o'clock. I need some people to catch passes for me. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'll be there. And I didn't really think about it. I was like, for me? I was like, I think that's Dwayne Haskins that just texted me. Ended up being Dwayne, and it was cool because then that whole week, like 5-6 days, I was able to hang out with those guys, kind of like feel a part of, you know, the Ohio State culture and kind of, you know, put everything together. And it was funny because Paris Campbell, I played against in high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for St. Vincent St. Mary. We played in that Final Four game.
Okay.
So it was cool being able to just talk to him about that. And it's funny how, you know, he goes to Ohio State, has a stellar career. All these kids do. And how they're so similar to you. You know, it's almost like they're put up on a pedestal. Yeah. But at the end of the day, they're just kids, you know.
Exactly.
They just want to go out there, have fun, catch touchdowns, and, you know, do all the same things that you want to do. So just being able to see it through a different lens for that whole week was really cool.
Welcome to 99 Miles Per Hour. With me, your host, Perci Garner. We'd like to thank our sponsor, Your Pizza. Now, this is a local pizza shop in New Philly. They're at 152 Front Avenue in New Philadelphia. You can find their pizza online at yourpizzashop.com. Or if you can call right now for to order for delivery, it's 330-339-4888. Now, you can also find subs, salads, of course, and boneless wings. Now, y'all know me. If y'all seen the show before, I don't be messing with the salads, but they got everything for everybody. Try some of this pizza. It's amazing.
Casa, make yourself at home, do your do. Welcome to my pad, this your lab, go create your move.
What's good, everybody? It is 99 miles per hour with me, your host, Perci Garner. Thanks for tuning in today. We got a special guest, but before we get to our special guest, I just want to thank our sponsors of today's show, which is new sponsor, Peterman Plumbing, and then you guys are about to see me chowing down on Your Pizza. So we'd like to say thank you, and I also have a Patreon that I'm looking into launching. If you guys could leave feedback, that would be helpful. If you don't know what Patreon is, I'll explain it in the comments below. I'm not going to take up Cory's time here, but again, make sure you subscribe, leave a comment on the Apple Podcast. We appreciate the feedback, and we want to know that people are actually watching. No, anyways. So today, I'm able to sit next to this specimen. And, Cory is from the Dover area, and he has played collegiate football, even had some run-ins with the Packers. And, man, to be honest, I hadn't seen you in a while. And when I saw you at that pro day, which we'll get into at Ohio State, I was just like, what did Ohio Dominican give this kid? But I'm excited to get into the show with you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Cory Contini.
Thank you.
Yes. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here. Chop it up with you a little bit.
Yes, of course. I mean, I feel like we've never, you were young. I think were you a ball boy at any point for us? And, you're young, so now, you're a young adult and you're in the real world now. You're not, head in books and you just got your master's, but you're not, busy with football, and you're in a different world now. Same world I'm in now, out of sports, and has been. No, you're not has been yet.
Oh, I am. I'm washed.
Love it. But hey, man, I just want to start by, just talking about, I guess, how that is. Obviously you just got your master's and now you're starting a new career. How's that going? Good.
So right now I'm doing taxes and in the middle of tax season. So let me tell you, it's a big change from scoring touchdowns and, stealing bases and hitting home runs, but it's fun. I think the biggest change is that when I mess up on a tax return, my coach or the partner doesn't scream at me afterwards. So I almost catch myself going in expecting the worst sometimes, but then at the end of the day, it's like, oh, well, I'm not at football practice right now. I'm just in the business setting. So no, but everything's going great. It's definitely a lot of information coming my way right now. So I'm just trying to take it all in and learn as much as I can, but it's going well. I have no complaints, and I'm just excited to start like a new area of my life, kind of like career path. So it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun right now until 10 years down the road, you're just like, no, I'm joking.
No, you're probably right. I mean, I was thinking to my desk, I was like, dang, I got to do this like 30 more years. I don't know if I can do that. I'm kidding. But no, there are days like that though, where it's tough, where it's like, man, I miss, football or being in high school and, just going to football practice instead of, sitting behind a desk. I know my body probably likes it a little more too.
Trust me, I know how that is. But I mean, okay, so like when we think about that, there had to be, I know as a professional baseball player, there were some times I had to, like slap a teammate in the head or even hit myself in the head. Like, okay, why am I complaining? I'm playing a game right now. Or did you ever have those days? Because I know even in college football for me, like it's like a job. So do you ever have those days where you're kind of like, oh man, football? Or was it just like, all right, I get to go to practice every day. This is amazing.
No, everyone has those days. I even had them, and especially me, I was a receiver, so I'm a little more of like a prima donna, as some would say. So I'm the one that doesn't really want to, I want to say practice as much. Like I like going to practice and hanging out with the guys and everything, but you're in week 11 or 12 of the season, and it's like Wednesday practice for the 12th time. So, but no, everyone has those days. Even I catch myself now doing it because I still try to work out, even though it's tax season and stuff. So it's either like wake up at 5 in the morning and go, or it's like 7 o'clock at night and go. So I'm telling myself, dang, I don't want to do anything, but you got to kick it in extra gear and just think, what would Coach If want me to do? So I find my way over to YMCA and I do as much as I can.
Dang, that's what I need to do because – well, I just worked out before the show, but I'm starting now. Right when I leave the office, I just go to the Y, get on the Airdyne or assault bike, and just get after it because I don't want to. I would love to work out for an hour, but
Oh yeah, you have different responsibilities though.
And I made like a little gym at our house, so I'll do exercises there. I just want to get the cardio out of the way at the Y. So
yeah, that's 100% the worst part. 100%.
I'm glad you agree with me.
Yes.
But I mean, we can tell you work out. And, that's, I kind of want to, just talk about that for a second. Like because obviously I knew you as, Cory, I don't know, you were probably in 6th grade or something like that. And I was just like, oh yeah, he's a good dude, nice little kid. He's our ball boy. He's a good, respectable young man. Not like those kids today. No. Right. But, and then I think, I might have been to a couple Dover games, but still, you're kind of far away. I didn't have the best seat in the house. It's not a shame. I should have the best seat in the house at Dover.
50-yard line.
Disrespect. Right. But coming to your games was fun, and I was just like, man, it's fun to see those, the young kids, and what you guys turn into. And I was like, man, this dude's a specimen, and just playing football, it was so fun to watch. I mean, you probably had the same experience. You're probably 4th, 5th, 6th grade. Getting wristbands after the game, and then all of a sudden you're giving your wristband out. It's just weird. I mean, how was that for you?
Oh, I think that's the coolest part about the whole thing. Obviously it's cool scoring touchdowns and everything, but when you're actually the one on the field, being able to give out your wristbands after the game, being able to play Philly, being able to do all that cool stuff that you watched all those guys before you do. And I remember growing up, Daniel was my favorite player, Daniel Ift.
What?
So, no, receiver. Obviously, I wanted to be like Daniel. And then obviously when I got up there after games, I'm giving out my wristbands and stuff. And it's funny because now I go back to the games and there's kids like Nathan Ravine and all these other guys who are just great athletes as well doing the same thing. And I was like, that's pretty cool because, I remember giving gloves and wristbands out to those same kids. So
yeah, it is. And he's really good too.
Oh,
so
heck yeah.
It's good to see that, Dover keep that going with Coach Hift. And obviously, like you just mentioned, he makes an impact on our lives. And, he stays with us as we get into adulthood. But, I also, wanted to mention this little thing you had. So obviously you went to, I want to make sure I'm saying this right, because there's Ohio Dominican, there's Old Dominion, there's a lot of these, but I know you went to Ohio Dominican with there was a couple other Dover people who went there as well. But how was your experience there? Because for me, going to Ball State, out of state. I would have loved to stay in state just so I can, see my family more. But I loved Ball State, don't get me wrong. But for you, going to Ohio Dominican and being you guys were successful there. So, I mean, explain and just, share how your moments were at Ohio Dominican.
Yeah, I had a great experience at Ohio Dominican. Coming from Dover, where Coach Schiff runs the program so well, it's almost like a college program. And I don't know if you noticed it really in your experiences, but throughout my college career, our college coach, said a lot of the things I already heard from Coach Schiff a million times. So it was like, and I didn't really appreciate it in high school until I heard it from my college coach. And I was like, dang, I already heard this a million times. And that on top of, running the 5 wide at Dover, we have a bunch of different pass variations and things like that. That helped me get into the lineup pretty quick at Ohio Dominican. Yeah. And so the campus as a whole isn't very big, but since it's in Columbus, it makes it pretty enjoyable. So like on the weekends, you want to get away. Maybe some of your buddies go to Ohio State, hang out with them, or, there's still that following in Columbus for Ohio State, and that all your buddies are following. You're just playing, not at the big school, but kind of like the school next door that's not quite as big. But I had a great experience at Ohio Dominican. Obviously I wouldn't change anything, and if I could do it over again, I'd go to Ohio Dominican.
That's what's up, because I know obviously you had the opportunity to go to the pro day at Ohio State and run some routes and catch some passes from Dwayne Haskins. Who else was there with you? I know there were some other receivers that were running routes and catching as well, and that were trying to get some looks.
Yeah, so I was there with Paris Campbell, Johnny Dixon, Terry McLaurin, Mike Weber was there. And the only 2 non-Ohio State guys were myself and a receiver from Air Force named Jalen Robinette. He was from the Columbus area as well. Okay. So he caught passes also. But the whole experience was pretty cool because my agent at the time was a guy who was working in Neil Cornrich's office, who was Bill Belichick's agent, actually.
Nice.
And so that's how I got the hookup to Ohio State. And then I also had a pro day set up for Ohio University a week later. Okay. And so we thought at the Ohio State Pro Day I was just going to be able to do the combine drill, so the 40-yard dash and the L cone, the vertical, all that stuff, until like a week leading up to it, I got a text from a random numbers like, hey, are you still doing Ohio State's Pro Day? And I'm like, yeah. I didn't really know who it was. And they're like, all right, we'll be at the Woody, they call it, which is their indoor. Yeah. Like, all right, we'll be at the Woody Sunday at 10 o'clock. I need some people to catch passes for me. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'll be there. And I didn't really think about it. I was like, for me? I was like, I think that's Dwayne Haskins that just texted me. Ended up being Dwayne. And it was cool because then that whole week, like 5-6 days, I was able to hang out with those guys, kind of like feel a part of, the Ohio State culture and kind of, put everything together. And it was funny because Paris Campbell, I played against in high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for St. Vincent St. Mary. We played in that Final Four game.
Okay.
So it was cool being able to just talk to him about that. And it's funny how, he goes to Ohio State, has a stellar career. All these kids do. And how they're so similar to you. It's almost like they're put up on a pedestal. Yeah. But at the end of the day, they're just kids, Exactly. They just want to go out there, have fun, catch touchdowns, and, do all the same things that you want to do. So just being able to see it through a different lens for that whole week was really cool.
Yeah, and I know me and Zach kind of noticed that because when you're looking at Steubenville, and this is when Steubenville was not losing games when I was playing, and you kind of look at them and it's just like, oh wow, they're this big, and you don't really think like, hey, they put their pants on the same way as us. Because at Dover, I, even though we have a great program, it's like we're smaller and stuff like this, and we know that we're not in the highest division, and you always think about that stuff. But when it comes down to it, Coach Schiff always prepares us, and, we can compete at those levels. So, and then to hear Zach say, oh, we were like, dang, Perci Garner and Daniel Ift and all that, the offense, it was just weird to hear them say that. And then, I guess similar to you, so my sister was dating someone at Ohio State, and right when they won the national championship. And just to see how they, they're in their dorms, I got to hang out with Shazier and Braxton Miller, and they're just, they're kids, and they're just trying to, experience college, have fun, and play football. And the one thing I noticed, because I'm actually writing a paper on NCAA and how, the college athletes should be paid and all that stuff. So it's just funny we look at these kids that, they go to Alabama, they go to Ohio State, they do this. You look at them different, almost like they're professional athletes already, but then they're still broke and they're in college trying to get through it and get an education. But I mean, I guess, I didn't really think about asking you this, but, what's your take on the NCAA and, college athletes?
So for me, it's kind of difficult because I obviously wasn't experiencing that at the High Dominican. I mean, who's going to buy a Cory Contini? Maybe Matt Von Kennel for Cohen or, besides that. But, that's a tough debate. I'm not really in a position to answer it well.
Okay.
I think that at the end of the day, these kids are getting their school paid for, but at the same time, they're just, the kids who are really good are just using college a little bit to go to that next level because they can't go straight there.
Yeah.
So I can understand that part of it, but I think if you're, a kid that wants to get your degree, then you should be grateful for, them paying for your schooling to begin with. But that other aspect of it for the likeness and everything else that comes along with it, it's up for debate. I can't answer it. I have no idea.
I was hoping to get some material for my paper, man.
That's above my pay grade, and I don't have too much on it.
I got you. Well, I did recently just heard. It's an old video, but I obviously I'm doing research for my assignment now. But I watched a video, 20-minute video, I think, of Joey Galloway, Reese Davis, Jay Billis, and then Greg McElroy, I think is his name. He's a quarterback for Alabama.
Yeah.
And they all had different, interesting, takes on it. Greg was saying, look, I benefited way more from Alabama than Alabama benefited from me. So I'm on the side of we don't need to be paid.
I mean, that's true at the end of the day, too.
Yeah.
You get to go to a university like Ohio State, just instantly stepping on the field there. You have recognition. You have all these things that you wouldn't have if you didn't go to Ohio State. You could be me and go to Ohio Dominican, and it's like half the time people can't even get the college name right.
Yeah.
So when you go to Ohio State, it's a little different. You're on a different playing level than all these other kids.
And Joey Galloway also made a good point. He was like, just to attach on to what you're saying is, when he went to Ohio State, he never had any trainers better than that, even in the NFL. So he was just like, there's a lot more things. And to me, when I first took on this assignment, I was like, oh, yeah, players should be getting paid no matter what.
Right.
But there's really only 1 to 3 players, college student athletes, that are really kind of getting the raw end of the stick.
Right.
Like a Zion, Johnny Manziel, and people like that. But, the 99.999% of the college athletes aren't really, getting a raw deal or the short end of the stick. But it is up for debate, and I want to get your input. But I guess another thing that brings it is March Madness. I mean, if you combine men's basketball and NCAA football, I think it's around a $15 billion industry.
Huge, yeah.
And, I just learned that the NCAA originally was created to just make sure that college football players were safe, because back in the day they were dying because obviously there was no equipment
really?
And stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what they were created. Now they're controlling what you can go do. You're not allowed to go do a photo shoot or something.
Right. Yeah.
You can't do anything. So it's just weird. But I wanted your opinion. But on the March Madness, and who you got? I haven't really been paying attention, to be honest. I'm gonna be honest.
I'm right there with you.
Okay.
I'm more of an NBA guy. More than anything.
See, that's me
and
too.
So especially leading up to March Madness, I feel like every year it's just crazier and crazier in college basketball. Anyone can win any game.
Yeah. I think that's what's interesting.
That is what makes it interesting.
They play freaking balls to the wall.
All the time. Obviously, Gonzaga's undefeated.
Yeah.
It's tough to see anyone beating them, I guess. Outside of that, it's kind of crazy. No Duke or Kentucky I saw for the first time since 1976 or something.
It's weird. It is weird.
I'd say, this is funny. My favorite college basketball team, if I had to pick one, would probably be North Carolina.
Okay.
When I was growing up, I used to love Ty Lawson and Tyler Hansborough, that team. I used to love them, so it's kind of stuck with me since.
That's what's up.
And Ohio State kind of scarred me when they lost to Florida. What was that, 2 years in a row? Whatever that was. So I've been a kind of a North Carolina guy.
Gotcha.
But ever since, they haven't been very good. I haven't been following it much, I'm not going to lie. But I know a lot of my buddies went to Ohio University, so they're pretty excited that they're in the tournament.
Yeah.
So they're already making brackets that they're going to the Final Four and all this stuff. I was like, all right, let's calm down a bit.
It is kind of special to have your college, be a part of that. And Ball State back in the day was really good at basketball. But, for me, NBA it's just a little bit more exciting. But I will say, I used to be more interested in NCAA basketball until the whole like one and done thing, and you can't really invest. Like Tyler Hansborough was there
the whole time.
yes,
Yeah.
and you knew you just knew you were going to get. He was going to play balls to the wall. He's going to be bleeding or something,
Right.
and everyone hated him.
Right. Yeah.
Because he was so good.
Exactly.
That's just how it is.
Yeah. Everyone now is just trying to get one and done. It's more worried about where you're going in the NBA draft than what your team's going to do in the NCAA tournament. So I can relate on that part.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited no matter what. But I guess to shift gears. So when we talked about your new career and I'm excited to learn hear about what you've learned and what you think you can take from football. So obviously your parents have had a big impact in your life. Just talking to your dad and hearing his name over the PA or hearing his voice over the PA. It's just interesting because I never knew his life story. Mm-hmm. So it was interesting to hear that. And then kind of how he parented you with sports and stuff, because that's always like a slippery slope, or it could be in a disaster. I've seen it both ways. But for you, I guess before we get into what you learned from football, from your parents, like what did they instill in you, and on top of that, the Dover community?
I mean, my parents are everything I am, and I even still live with them right now because I just started this job.
Smart though.
Yeah, it was smart.
Save as much as you can.
But no, from an early age, they were consistently on me about schoolwork first before sports. Schoolwork first before I could go out and play in the neighborhood with everyone in my neighborhood. That's my mom, who was a teacher. She instilled that first. You got to get your homework done first before you can do anything else. And then my dad is, a very hard worker from his upbringing and, where he is today. So, he instilled that hard work ethic in myself also. And he was always my coach growing up, Little League basketball. It didn't matter what it was. And I wouldn't say he was hard on me, but he was. But he was never over the top. It was always to make me better. Yeah. So, my dad and I definitely clashed a lot when I was growing up. And I'd come home and I'd be upset and I'd say, like, cry. I wouldn't say cry to my mom, but I'd complain to my mom. And, my mom's like, it's okay and stuff. But it's funny to see things progress now. Obviously, you get that from your parents whenever you're living at home in high school, and then college still, they're on you. But now since it's weird now that I'm living at home and it's like not like a little kid anymore, where it's like, well, they still tell me what to do. I'm not gonna lie, but it's not to that extreme. I've seen them become more as my friends now. Yeah. But I remember my mom used to always say growing up, if your parents are your friends, then you're going to have problems with your life. So that's what she always said to me, like, we're not your friends, like, we're your parents now. Yeah. We can be friends later. Yeah. But, my parents did a great job raising me and my sister. And, I think a lot of times in high school, I'd be upset because I couldn't go do a lot of things that my other friends were doing. Yep. And, but I'm happy. I'm super happy with, everything they've done with me, and I couldn't be more grateful for them. And then you talk about the Dover community, and, I'm forever grateful for that. Just like the high school football atmosphere on Friday nights, the whole community coming together is something that I haven't really felt since Dover. Like, you had a High Dominican, it's like, we had good crowds and everything came.
There's so many sports, though, in that little area, in that Columbus area.
Right. Everyone came together, but still, like, not a tight-knit community and everything. And even when I was going through the whole pro day process and figured out where I was going to go to mini camp, I got so many texts from, people I knew or hadn't heard from in a while from the Dover area, or like I just didn't even know. And it's like, hey, this is so-and-so. I know you don't know me, but I just want to say, we're thinking of you. And then I'm grateful for, everyone in the Dover community. And that's a question that I get asked a lot. Like, do you want to raise your kids in Dover and everything when you have them someday? And, I had a great experience here. I don't know if it's different for, someone like you or someone like me, just because we had success in Dover, such a sports oriented background. So we see it differently than others, but
I never looked at it like that.
Yeah. But that's what a lot of people ask me. And, from all my experiences, it's been nothing but good. So I don't see any reason why I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah. And you see, I'm here. So.
Right.
Well, my wife, she wanted to go out west for a little bit, but I got her to come back.
You found her way back. Yeah,
I got her to come back. Now, I guess, obviously you have to learn discipline, Coach Ifs instills that in us early, and your parents have instilled in teachers, coaches, all that. but now you're in, a business where, we weren't allowed. I don't want to say we weren't allowed, but mistakes were not accepted well, in our sports with our coaches, Von Kittle and all that. And now you're in, the tax the tax business, and mistakes aren't really accepted where there either. Right. So what can you carry over from football or from what you've learned growing up into your new career?
I think about this all the time. I think the biggest thing is obviously you have to work hard, but outside of that is just consistency. Be consistent in everything that you do, and that could be in football, basketball, baseball, could be in your job, could be doing a tax return. It doesn't matter. Just give your partner that you're working on the return for, or your coach, an idea of your work every single time so they know what to expect. And I remember down at Ohio Dominican senior year that they even used to joke with me, like the head coach and the receivers coach would joke. They'd call me Mr. Consistency. It's like, oh, yep, there's Contini, right on time, or, I'd be where I needed to be at the right time, or I'd make a play in a game right when we needed one. It's just they knew what to expect of me, and whether that's in the classroom or in the tax software, it doesn't matter where you are. So as long as you're consistent and you're showing that effort, and your coach or your boss is going to know what they're getting out of you every single time, I think that's something to take with you everywhere. So, and I mean that's tough to do every day. You experience it too. Some days you don't want to get out of bed in the morning, but you're going to be there 5 minutes early wherever you got to be, and you're going to put your max effort towards whatever you have to that day.
Yeah, I mean that's just part of life and how it's got to go. Some people aren't, I guess, cut out for certain things, and then I've always thrived in structure. So, being a creative and making content like this, there's no due date unless Josh is like, hey man, you didn't do this yet. I'm like, oh crap, I gotta do that.
Get on it.
He's over there smiling, but for me, I'm anxious, and well, I don't want to say anxious, but I'm looking forward to seeing you grow and just get to experience what I got to experience when you're playing sports and you're just locked in, and then all of a sudden you go out and you got to learn a whole new, because obviously you can't act like you did in the locker room.
Right. Oh yeah.
But I worked in sales at ComDoc, and it was very close to a locker room experience, because sales is like sports,
right.
Boom, there's not, hey, you had a good game last game, so this one you can take the day off. No, right. It's always
all the time.
And but it was a rude awakening, just knowing how it's still competitive out in the real world. It's a little different, but I mean, what are you looking forward most, I guess, to out and building a business and just growing and being a sponge and learning as much as you can?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing I'm looking forward to, is just learning, being able to take in a bunch of information. And even from January to now, I've learned so much about taxes and about the different forms, and how things are reported, what's taxable, what's not. So just in that area of tax, I've learned a lot within the last 2-3 months. So right now, I don't really have any long-term goals. I'd say it's more of taking in everything and understanding the process of how, an actual office functions and how busy season functions, and so that's something that going forward I can always build on. Yeah. And so I think more than anything, that's what I'm really focusing on now, is just taking in a bunch of information and being able to process it and use it as I go forward.
I like it. Now I know you said you don't really have any long-term goals, which is, is fine. I know when I was in your position, I was like, because they were asking me in my interview, what do you want to do in 5 years? I'm like, I don't know. I just want to make sure, I'm working hard. I don't know.
Right.
But, it's become big to me is, obviously we talked about how the community and the impact they've had on us growing up, but it was, very important to me to come back and give back in any way. Now, obviously there's different ways we can do that. And mine ended up being working at Rainbow Connection, but it started very small and just, and you're working in Canton. So there's a lot of different things you can do up there. It doesn't have to be Dover, because I know last episode we had 7 and he's in Boston. So
right.
It's just, for me, it's important, especially young people like yourself, to understand that that's a part of it. Most people, I think, focus on, I want to make a lot of money, have a family and retire, but, and I think your dad will attest to this, is being, dependable, you're consistent on the football field and stuff like that, but being dependable to organizations where you work that, nonprofits or charities or anything like that, is definitely a big part. Has that ever, because I know growing up and at your age, it was never a part of my thinking, but has that been a part of your thinking?
Yeah, it definitely has been. And I'm glad that we're doing this, and I've done a few things for WJR. Like I did the All-Star game and a few different things like that, just to like kind of get back in the swing of things in the area. But like you said, coming out of college, it's kind of hard to know what you want to do. That's the, you have your major, but it's like you're not in the business setting, so you don't really know if you want to do it or not.
Yeah.
So like you were saying, like with the relationships I've built here, and then also being up in Canton and meeting so many new people at this new firm, that along with being able to learn the practices of not only taxes but business and being able to make relationships, I think is a huge deal for me, and that's something I want to continue to do. And whether my path takes me to Dover, whether it takes me somewhere else, whether it keeps me in Canton, then I think like you were talking about, like you don't really know that you're in the moment until you are. It's kind of weird, and I know for you it's probably like I don't know. But like when you're dating a girl, it's like you don't know it's the one until it's like, dang, like I kind of like her. I don't know. You're married. You could probably.
Yeah, I was gonna say mine was a little different. I would say my story is just. I don't think not too many people are like lucky in my sense. I call it because as soon as I saw Krista, I don't know. I might have just been thirsty, because when I was like, I fell in love. Like I was just like, oh yeah, she wanted no part of it. So
you had to work. You had to work for it.
Yeah, it was like 2 years in the making before.
That's like a whole nother job you had.
It was, but no, yeah. For me, it was like immediately. In my mind, I was like, this is the girl I want to be with. I had to convince her, but I would say that's not the majority, though. I would say the majority, the way it should be, is you get to know the person. And because I believe that, love and marriage is all a choice. It's not like a feeling you get where you're like, oh, you know. Yeah. And even though the movies and stuff may differ, they never show you what happens after they fall.
Right.
So it's work. Relationships are work. Just like the relationships you're doing with your clients and your coworkers. Relationships are work. And however much work you put in it or how much effort you put in it, you'll see the results. I mean, with your friends, it's all natural. You guys like the same stuff, but you and your wife are probably not going to like everything the same.
Yeah.
But let me just be the one. I'm pretty sure your dad and mom can, I guess help you out with that as well. But yeah, for me, I chose to marry Krista after the infatuation stage was over. So.
Right.
But I guess since we're on that, do you have a girlfriend or what?
I do. I do have a girlfriend.
Okay.
3 years.
Oh, I thought you were going to say I got 3 girlfriends.
No. You might need to take that out in case she has to see.
You got 3 years, huh?
Yeah, 3 years.
Dang.
So I met her at a Haida Mannequin. She's actually from Sugar Creek.
Really?
Yeah, she went to Highland High School.
Okay.
Played basketball at Haida Mannequin.
Nice.
She just finished up her senior season at Ohio Dominican.
I'll
brag on her a little bit.
Go ahead.
Some brownie points too. Then if she watches this, she was our conference player of the year.
Dang. Okay.
Averaged 21.5 her senior year.
Wow.
And then when she was a senior in high school, she was actually on a state championship team for Highland, and she was the Division IV player of the year.
I know nothing what state championships are about, but I would love to have known.
Yeah, same. I'm right there with you.
But that's what's up. That's what's up. So you guys been together 3 years, both athletes. What do you like about her the most, I guess?
I don't know. She's so easygoing and easy to talk to, which is basically the opposite of me. So
you seem to be doing all right.
No, I think she calms me down, brings me back to reality a little bit whenever I get bent out of shape on certain things. And she's kind of like, hey, it's not that big of a deal. Just relax. So it's funny. The funniest part about it is that I didn't even know about her or anything until we got to Columbus, and she lives 15 minutes away from where I grew up. So
I know that's funny.
We always joke about that a lot too, because it's so random how that happened.
That's what's up. Well, congratulations, man. It's nice to have, basically you're not killing yourself. It's good to have someone that you can relate to on a level like that, because your parents, you can relate to them, but it's a little different.
I will say though, it's kind of tough though, because obviously they didn't have football at Highland.
Oh yeah.
So she's coming around though. 3 years now, she knows basically all the rules and everything going on. But still, there's some times where she'll lean over like, "What just happened?" And you gotta explain everything. But no, I get on her a lot about it. But she knows sports well, and you know, she had a heck of a career. But don't let it fool you. I'll still give it to her. And pig or horse, one-on-one. There's video archives. So if you hear her saying something different, just know.
I like it. I was going to ask you who could win one-on-one, who's a better shooter or whatever like that. But because we didn't really talk about you playing basketball much, but you know, that was one of the things you were good at too. So you played all three as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Nice. Now my wife is awful at baseball. Literally when the World Series was going on and I think the Cubs player hit a grand slam, she goes, "Oh my gosh, a 4-run home run." And everybody we were like, "What? What are you talking about?" And she was like, "Wait, what?" I was like, "Babe, that's a grand slam." She goes, "That's what a grand slam was?" You know, she only thought Denny's.
Right. Oh, my goodness.
I was like, oh, no. So I was like, man, come on, babe. But I understand, you know. She was a football fan, though. My wife's a football fan,
right.
So, you know, Dover.
Of course.
But I guess before we end this, I want to – I made a mistake. When I sent you this you're not supposed to know the fast questions. Dang.
I know them all now.
I messed up. Made a boo-boo. Oh, well. But anyways, before we get to that, we talk. Obviously, you mentioned how community involvement's important to you. And, you know, I'm very looking forward to, you know, just seeing where it takes you and what do you get involved with. You know, I'm not going to pressure you to be like, hey, Rainbow Connection. There's a lot of I didn't know that there was so much stuff in Tuscarawas County or even Dover for that matter. There's just so many organizations, so many businesses, so many companies that just do a lot of different stuff. And I'm just like, little Dover, this is crazy. I mean, did you have that same experience? Or did you know what was going on?
I mean, I knew a little bit. I knew there's a lot of pizza shops and stuff, but no, I know exactly what you're talking about. As you get older, you find out more and more about the community. Like, I know my dad was involved in a lot. Like when I was growing up and I'd hear, I had this today or I had that today, like Rotary or Dover Education, something like that. But you don't really put it all together until you get older. Yeah,
I'm part of Rotary now. I thought I was the youngest member, but I'm not. So Andrew from the Salvation Army is younger than me, unfortunately. But wait, and actually we might be getting a new member. Do you know Drex Weber?
Mm-hmm, I know Drex.
Yeah. So I worked with Drex and I had him on the show as well. Oh, okay. So, you know, I'm trying to work on him. You know, you young guys, man, you guys are different. But, you know, I'm just trying to, you know, I guess bring together the because Carmel, she was the executive director of Rainbow Connection before me. She said I'm very good at bringing together and being the glue between the old people and the young people. And I'm like, is that a compliment? I guess.
Right.
But no, I'm looking forward to, you know, just being here and like I said, you know, hopefully. You know, family and, you know, kids is in your future and all that stuff. I mean, that's what you want to do, right?
Of course.
That's what's up. That's what I like to hear. But anyways, I guess before we get out of here, we got to do the fast, not quick on your feet questions because I accidentally sent these to him already.
I was thinking about them. I was like going back and forth on a lot of them. So I guess whatever kind of comes to my mind still on a few of them, I'll just throw it out there.
Maybe I'll jumble them up so you don't know the order.
There you go.
All right, here we go. Wait, did we do a countdown on the screen last time? No, because there were so many questions. You can't do it short, whatever. All right, here we go. Favorite car?
Probably a Porsche.
Okay. What kind of just, I didn't say car brand. I said car. 911?
See, I'm not good with cars. I'm not a big car person.
All right, Porsche is fine.
I like the SUV Porsches, though.
Oh, okay.
I like how those look.
All right, Mike Clevenger had one of those. Favorite athlete?
LeBron, 100%.
Dang, I was thinking you were going to say me. Most influential person?
My parents, 100%.
Gotcha, okay. Favorite movie?
Oh, this is tough. This was one I was going back and forth on.
It is hard.
Because I love comedies, but then also I love Remember the Titans.
What's that movie? I'm joking.
I was going to say, Remember the Titans. I love anything Adam Sandler.
Okay.
I'm kind of... Uncut Gems. I like that movie. Just came out. Adam Sandler.
Was that Snoop Dogg in that one?
No. It's Sandler.
Is it Kevin Garnett?
Kevin Garnett's in there.
I knew there was a tall, dark dude.
That's a good reason why I like him. But anything like Will Ferrell, Adam Sandler, you throw in front of me, I'll watch it and probably rewatch it like in 2 days. So
Okay, I like it. Favorite food?
steak,
Ooh, I like it. Okay. Superhero ability?
fly. Has to be to fly.
Yeah, I agree with that one. Favorite vacation spot?
We go to Hilton Head every single summer.
I'm going to Hilton Head for the first time this year.
Are you?
Yes. Living or not, who would you want to meet?
This is a tough one too, because I was gonna say LeBron again, but I was like, I can't say the same person. And I actually already met LeBron. I got a picture when I was like in 4th grade or whatever it was, when he was a senior at St. V. So I was thinking about this, and I've had to answer this question a few other times, and I think I'd say someone like Julius Caesar.
Okay.
That was like the first civilization ever, and kind of like, I don't know, just the difference.
Yeah.
And like cultures and everything.
I like that. I've never heard that answer. We used to do this to every new employee at ComDoc.
Really?
So I never heard that answer, but I like it. And this is an additional one. Have you seen the new Disney movie, Raya?
No, I have not.
It's a must watch.
I'm sure you've seen all of them.
Yeah, I have. Every Disney movie there is. I even watched the old stuff, except I'm really sad they don't have the famous Jet Jackson. You remember that, Josh? Famous Jet Jackson? Yeah. They don't have it on there, man. Rest in peace. Lee Thompson Young. You don't even know what that is. You weren't born when that show was on. No. But no, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I appreciate you coming on the show. This was fun. Is there anything else that you wanted to share or, say anything?
My second favorite athlete is you. Is that good?
Good. We might have you back on the show just for that. But no, we appreciate having you in here, man. And this is fun for me. I love doing this. I hope it was fun for you.
Heck yeah.
Okay, that's what's up. Well, before we wrap it up, just want to let everybody know that you better subscribe. And we appreciate you guys watching us. And we'll see you next Tuesday. Peace.
It feels like Casablanca. Shawty, you my little mama. I got a crib by the water. Say me Casa su casa. It feels like Casablanca. Shawty, you my little mama. She be on that Henny. I like that Corona.